Is that videotaping? You know? Are we gonna finish this one? Hang on, I gotta see if we're recording. I think we are. Alright, we're gonna put a bookmark in this one. Can you believe this shit? Right? Okay. Hey, no spoilers, but this is Cobra issue 1. We're up to, I think, issue 3 now, so I can show you this because we're gonna talk about this today a little bit on TCCC. What are those? What is this? What's going on? Cobra Commander, Skybound Entertainment, G.I. Joe lore, and all the other stuff. It's world building. That was the topic of yesterday. It's the topic of today. It's a topic I stealing off Ozymandias and friends there. Their live stream there a few days ago, which I tuned in through Punk. I will join Punk stream. And yeah, guys, we got to talk about what I think is going on and the world building that Skybound Entertainment and that Hasbro and G.I. Joe Classified are doing, and some of the name drop characters that we've been hearing. It all starts with Nemesis Enforcer, doesn't it? Anyways, Krusty's got to get down and go do his things. This is a TCCC episode, and you've caught me on a very busy day. The last couple of days have been chaotic, to say the least, and a lot of traveling, driving around, not a whole lot of conversion work, which is very disappointing because I have this much to do on that his fire team, and then I'm ready to present it, but I don't think I might get it done tonight, but it depends on how many live streams I'm participating on the chat with today, because you guys know that I am working every day on this channel, guys, and any other YouTuber that is out there enjoying their channel the way I enjoy mine could tell you the exact same thing. You work every day, and it's not work if you're doing what you love. That's an old saying that it's true. I love this channel. I love talking to you guys about G.I. Joe Classified and my opinionated way with my veteran experience in the armed forces and my crazy ADHD. And speaking of ADHD, guys, I'm getting really close to putting out another Spinning Compass episode. That'll have nothing so much to do with Joe. It'll have everything to do with toy collecting and the nuances and the fun aspects of ADHD for sure. But it won't have anything to do with it. But what are we going to talk about today? I got to get to the point because I don't have much time. I got to go cook some supper. So today's April Fool's Day, but I ain't yanking your chain on anything. But yeah, I fell for it this morning. I think it was the Artist Shark put out an April Fool's Day joke about some new releases. And then I was like, you son of a bitch. But I'm going to cover the ones that aren't a fucking April Fool's Day joke. You'll have to pardon me. I'm going to cover the things that weren't an April Fool's Day joke, but I wish they were, but they weren't revealed on April Fool's Day. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about this trio that we're forming between me, 3-Star Draw, and Aaron the Toy Enhancer between our channels. We're going to follow up on some discussions there. I'm not going to reveal behind the scenes anything, but I'll let you know that we've been talking, and you might be seeing us again very soon. And I'm not going to talk about the new lineup today at all, because I want to save that for when I get together with Aaron and 3-Star there, down south 77. I want to save all further discussion about that new line for then, right? But we're also trying to come up with that new name for the group, and Aaron, and he drew the line in the sand. He's like, tonight we are going to decide, right? Get your 3 best names in. And I think he's got a plan on how we approach this. And yeah, there's a lot of funny ones out there, guys. And we've been reading some Euro submissions, and I'll tell you, man, 3-Star Draw, he's got a real good sense of humor, man. I like it. He's named a couple that made me laugh, but then he's explained why we can't use them. So I have a whole sheet of my selections. I got to narrow it down to 3. While on the topic of Aaron, he's also issued a couple of challenges I got to talk to you guys about. And then, but I really want to start this off with the slideshow and a little following up, because it's I really don't have a lot of time tonight if I want to get anything done. And guys, I have done it again. I have torn apart my shelves because of world building and because of the display and all that other stuff. I am trying to get as much display space out of my little part of the basement as I can. So yeah, I pulled everything down, reset everything. Even the Cobras are put away for now until I can get this all figured out. But There you go. Yeah, you can see my mirror. That's how I know where the camera's squared. Old school solutions to new YouTuber problems. Anyways, so let's get into the quick slideshow here, and then I'm gonna get going here. So, was it called WonderCon or WorldCon? WonderCon, I believe, was the event where Emily was a guest speaker, and Hasbro spoke about all the new stuff. And we are going to talk about a lot of that when I get together with 3-Star on Aaron. But you guys know me and my satisfaction with having got my beachhead. Well, you know, all they did was show some more digital renders of stuff and things like that. But there was a name drop, guys, and this is where I'm going with, right? And that name drop, the one I wish was a April Fool's Day joke. Sorry, is that going to tilt properly? I was once a man, Cobra Commander. Yeah, that is the name drop, guys. So I blame the success of Serpentor for putting these fires of Cobra Law back into Hasbro, saying we can make it work. Because it's flowed into the comics, guys, and I'm not going to give you a lot of spoilers, but Cobra Law is present in the comics. It's being reincorporated into this re-envisioning of how Joe and Cobra are under the Skybound banner, and their stories. And I won't tell you whether they're good or bad stories. I'll just tell you they're a different spin on everything, and I'm reading it, and it's got me, but you know, if I'm not reading it, I'm actually watching Billy in action and his videos, or listening to JLS, and they're all reading it to me. But yeah, I didn't want to believe the rumors at first, but it's very much true, apparently. And so people have known to make these conversions 3¼ scale, but this is kind of along the lines of what I expect. The not full serpent with the little T-Rex arms wrapped around Roadblock, but rather when he's in the midst of the transition and still has a bit of his ripped uniform and everything like that. Why this was prioritized, guys, I don't know. Who asked for this? I will find you. But this is, to me, this is they got a bad scent on the trail and they're going to run it down. And I have to remain optimistic because of the Serpentor figure, and because a lot of the other evidence about whether or not Cobra Law would work in a classified line is still yet to be released, right? So we know Nemesis Enforcer is due to come, and we're expecting him to be a deluxe set, large figure, blah, 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 blah. Or is it Nemesis Immortal? I lost track of the name properties, but the point being is that if you follow, again, what they're doing in Skybound, well, that might be another take as well. There's the original take, and then there's an alternative in which we could see, and I could see that being an interesting deluxe set. And I'm just going to say the words soft goods, attachable wings. Yeah. Okay. I can see it. You'd have to go read the comics to see what I'm talking about. But again, there's another Cobra Law, right? So here we are with Alros Once a Man. And guys, I'm not excited about that at all. I feel like everything Emily cheers for with Lenny and Tony revolves around this word. Okay? The challenge. And everybody should embrace a challenge. Professionals would embrace challenges in their workplace all the time. Why wouldn't you? It's how you're going to get ahead. It's how you're going to get noticed. It's how you're going to make money, make money. But some challenges, I think, aren't worth doing. And I think that the irony of this photo here, of him clinging to that version of Roadblock, where he's got that vest and the white shirt, it's so close to the very first Roadblock we got in the Fortnite, and it's from the movie, and, you know, I feel like they're on the bad side. I got my Siri on. Siri, would you like to turn off now? Oh, that's good. I got my volume way down. Okay. Siri, turn off. Jesus. Okay, so yeah, I talked about the conversions. I talked about which one it was going to be. So challenges, right? So Raptor, there's a Prime challenge. You know that figure. I have no desire to have it, but it's probably going to turn out really good. Why am I thinking that? Because that's the feedback I've heard on nonstop on Big Boa. That's what I myself discovered about Quick Kick. And that's what other guys, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see it with the Techno Viper, but the Techno Viper's on hold for me right now. I will pick that up. You'll see my review of it, but man, that's a fucking McDonald's grimace with a pressure washer hose, man. He's selling Happy Meals at the drive-thru as I see it, like I said before. But once you get them in your hand, it's a different story. But to challenge a design team to make the concept of I was once a man work as a figure changes the dynamic. Was that really a Joe character, or was that just a silly part of the movie that happened to the Cobra Commander character? That's what I'm getting at. Is like, should we even count I was once a man, I was a Cobra Commander? Did anybody else do any shape-shifting in G.I. Joe for a single episode because they were infected with something, or transmutified, or they had a temporary alteration, right? Should we expect a Zartan version of Ripcord and a Ripcord version of Zartan from the comics? Like, I'm just not sure where that boundary goes. When Emily says it's all on the table, I think this is a little bit too much. You're picking shit up off the floor and putting it back on the table, and that's a little gross. This one is a little gross. I don't see the appeal, I don't see the want, and I didn't see the desire. I hear the guy saying, yeah, I'm really excited about it. And on some level, as am I, I'm excited about anything new Hasbro puts out. And I've learned to get excited about the shit that is off-putting to me, because, again, that word challenge, and I want to see how they rose to it. But to prioritize this figure above others in the line seems excessively effing off. Effing off fans to try and take their money on impulse. You know what I mean? And I don't mean take their money. I know they're going to earn the money. Debatable, but yeah, that's how I see it. They earn the money with a fine product. But they're asking us for so many leaps of faith on this. And then we have to be more patient with figures that maybe we all, or a majority of the consensus is, are a higher priority than, say, I was once a man, right? And so the problem is Hasbro, when you keep telling us to take these leaps of faith, when it falls, we feel it more than you. We lost more than you. You think your company loses a lot of money, but I mean, like, this is our budgets, and we're normal people, right? And to put a lot of money into a figure and all that other stuff, that's us not just investing our personalities, our memories, our hearts, our souls, and our collections, and, you know, our interest into it. We actually put a fair chunk of money into it too, right? So when we want to prioritize our figures in these huge waves that you've suddenly sent, right? Maybe that's an issue for some of us, and maybe some of us are trying our best to do it. I know I'm one, but I'm not the only one, guys. I was like, holy crap, man, Hasbro, how much of my annual income do you want this week? You know what I mean? And I don't want that to sound too much like a complaint, because I am very happy that we're getting stuff. But, again, prioritizing this kind of crap, this is what I want to do to the Hasbro, the Hasbro CEOs, right? Because it's just like, why should I go without a regular edition of, say, Ripcord? An over-the-counter edition of Ripcord, retail edition of Ripcord, because the Dragonfly is going to be the Night Force version. Why should I go without that, so that this thing can squeak through and try and impress? And it's probably going to be a convention exclusive or mega deluxe set, or who knows, but it's taking the place of something else, right? Anyways, that's enough griping. You know what a good challenge is? It's Aaron the Toy Enhancer's challenges of late. He's giving me 2 challenges. One, I'm actually slow to the game, so he's gonna rush me. He's something. Man, back to the mail system. Me and him. Fuck. You know, Aaron, we're going to talk this week. I know we're going to talk tomorrow night, but we got to get the details of Joe Fest. And I got to ask you some questions so that I know how to plan, because I want to book my tickets, my hotels, whatever, all that stuff, flights. I want to do that this week, but I need an idea what we're doing. But I said, this can wait till I get to Joe Fest. And he's like, no, I got to ship it now. So I guess this has a deadline soon. But I'm going to participate in this little mech walker contest that he's got. As if you've watched Aaron's channel, you've seen this plenty of times. He buys these Dollar General or something mech walkers, or they're electronic, and he's been doing these fantastic conversions, right? For his Cobra army, and I know he's going to do some for Joe. But he's opened it up and he's sent a bunch to other people, and now he's said he's gonna send me one, and I've already got some designs and some ideas, so I'm gonna enter this contest. We have no idea what the contest prize or anything like that will be. Don't care. It's just fun to participate with other channel content guys, and I guess that's what it is it's being opened up to all those conversion guys. But yeah, you see it in his Cobra movies. If you go to Aaron's channel and watch some of those, you'll see them there. So his other challenge to me, he asked me about HasLab Dragonfly, and I it was kind of going a little bit fast with the chat. I was a little distracted, so I didn't really catch. I think he was asking me if I was going to get the Dragonfly, if I was on that list, and I'll explain my position with HasLab in a bit. But he said, I'm challenging you to make a Fang, and I want to make a Fang. I've been wanting to make a Fang for a while, and I do have some designs for other stuff, but I think I'm going to sacrifice one of the helicopter pieces I've got right now to make my Fang, to rise to Aaron's challenge and put one of those nice blue troopers he's blessed my army with, put that in there. But you know me, I'm never making it exactly like that, right? And so did nobody else, right? Like there's other variations. As later in the line, they did more with the panels and everything like that. But there's a Gridiron Studio add-on, things like that. And I think the Fang looks better in updated. Having those long singular missiles with no brackets, mounting systems, things like that. It was just, it was a lack of detail. But yeah, I would love to tackle Fang, Aaron. Thanks, I'm going to. But you didn't say which type. And oh man, I know he meant the traditional type, but doing a Fang too, like that, I'll tell you one of my secret loves. I'm not Air Force, but there are 3 airplanes, I'm not even going to talk about helicopters, that are at the top of my list, modern airplanes, not World War II, different list, that I really love and would just love to see in the classified line. The A-10 Warthog, which I guess the closest we're going to get is the Rattler. That's pretty close, right? The C-130 Spectre gunship. So the Spectre gunship with all the weapons hanging out that left side, a 105, a 25, everything under the sun. That thing circling overhead for Joe would be glorious. I think it's a C-130, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's a C-130 chassis on those. But the last one, it's the Osprey. I love that. I love seeing those in movies. I love seeing those in flight. I like the way that their VTOL is with the props. They look really cool, and they've got a very unique look. I'd love to do a Cobra Fang 2 based on an Osprey design at some point. But okay, so yeah, let's talk about the Dragonfly and HasLab. So what's the crow's position on HasLab? Guys, I just started this line 1 year ago today. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I had to sell my beloved Leafs rookie cards collection, including Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, all the current legends on that team. That's what I sold to buy my classified. I don't talk about it a lot because it's nothing new for me. I used to flip comics to get into 40K, flip 40K to get into hockey cards. So yeah, it's just a continual thing. ADHD is like that. You lock in on an interest and you throw everything into that interest, and you're okay purging things sometimes. I'm the type that needs to purge shit or else I'll hoard. I don't want to hoard. I'm already hoarding materials in a space that I don't have just for building dioramas and upgrading Joes. And I really don't have that kind of space. That's why we need to move. But I digress. My point being is that with HasLab, I would buy HasLab if it was something that I could do. Like, it's so old school and it sounds cheap, but you have to understand, I'm a retired guy, right? I live off fixed income. I'm not gatekeeping my finance comments to myself here. It's, you know, I think a lot of you guys can relate. It's very easy to overspend with this hobby, and Hasbro is doing us no favors on that regard. They are putting out a lot of good, tempting things, and we all want. And we have, like I said, that priority, that hierarchy. And some of us are going to get multiples of all of it, and some of us aren't, and that's fine. You have different lives going on, and I respect it all. Myself, I have to keep things within reason if I'm going to continue to maintain the balance in our house. And I already overspend too much, and it's already an issue, right? So it's not anything I would deny. It'd be like every now and then I go over my budget, and It's my toys, right? But that is channel content, and at least I can claim it on taxes at some point down the road when we get past that 500 mark. Let's get past the 350 first. We're very close. Thank you, new subscribers. But HasLab, if they had, say, like a payment plan, a layaway, anything like that, I probably would jump at his tanks and dragonflies. But when the prices are just a little outside that comfort zone, like just a bit as far as that stuff goes, and this is where I look at that secondary market and say, well, you know what? Who knows who you can negotiate with? I have met some very cool people who are like, yeah, if you want to do it that way, pay me this much now, that much later, that much again, and then you're done. Like, that's always on the table when you talk to somebody, when you talk to a company on the primary market. It's not necessarily there. And you used to be able to do layaway and things like that. It's the idea that, pardon me, I was on Hasbro today and I noticed the Vamps are still not up, but that's your American price. So what that translates into Canadian pricing is closer to four something, like 450, I think, 475. And that is a substantial amount of money to throw down at one shot or even a couple of shots without having that uncomfortable discussion with your spouse about your priorities in life and your hobbies, right? So if it were something where, and this is no better with the Dragonfly, really, I could probably be very convincing, and I tell her, listen, there are actually numbered figures in there. It's important, but only so. So that's not a woe with me. That's I manage my expectations in this collection very well, and that's why I have so much fun unlocking things with the world building and the imaginations, guys. And I think I've said enough with the HasLabs. The only real reason I feel this pressure to do HasLab, guys, is just because it's so irritating to know that there's going to be another 4 numbered figures that most collectors won't get unless they bought into that. And I know a lot of guys are in the same stance or positions in their lives as I am, or should be. Okay, let's talk about that again. Punk, I followed Punk on there. You notice I'm talking a little bit about Punk lately because I've started narrowing down after a year the guys that I listen to that I think I would watch more of, and the guys that I don't. And I watched a lot of them, and Punk is one of the guys I find I keep going back to. And it's not because I always agree with Punk. I don't always agree with Punk. I know he's sick of the hooded commander discussion, and that's fine. I don't mind, but I would never bring it up because I respect the guy, and if it's irritating him, man, I don't want to agitate him. He's got enough agitating him on his channel. But Punk was on Ozymandias's channel, and they were talking about this world building, and I talked a little bit about it, and I'm very much about it with my end state, my dystopian Cobra Joe, alternative history of Joe, and it gives me a reason to make characters that I want to see, how I want to see them, vehicles where I don't have vehicles, conversions galore. It's like a big purge of creativity. That's all it is, right? And you give it a time. And world building on a shelf is fun, and it lets you display your things. But let's talk about the type of world builders we're seeing on YouTube besides me. I want you guys to go look at 3 guys I talk about right now. Lawrence, Punk with Toys, Aaron the Toy Enhancer, and 3-Star Draw. And I want you to look at their shelves and the backgrounds of their videos and what they do with their backgrounds. Their world building, if you would. What you're going to notice is 3 different types of approaches here. With 3-Star Draw, and I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but he's got them pretty much laid out in series, right? Like there's no crossovers and things like that. Like G.I. Joe's over here, and it's the center, and then off to the side, other lines, and off to the side, other lines, and there's no merger. And with Aaron the Toy Enhancer, it's much the same. But you see with Aaron's content, he explores a lot of other lines like 3-Star does. But Aaron will make those lines cross over in his movies. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to explain it. Go watch his movies. Go watch the Cobra Army marching through that river, getting their supply drop. Go see who's actually watching them. See, he's not afraid to cross over those blurred lines of franchises and properties and just say it's all fun. That's his world building. Who says demon bears can't fight Zartan and the Dreadnought, right? And I 3-star might think that way, but his show and his shelves don't show that to me right now. And then you got Punk with Toys. He's a third category where he is like Aaron, but he displays it that way. Because if you look in the back, he's got a building and it's Street Fighter versus Joe, and I'm not sure if there's a couple other lines in there. And these are just like little quick assessments. So I'm wondering what kind of guys we have. I think we have a mix of all three. And I certainly am trying to be a mix of all three, but there's something keeping me from putting my Tigra figure with my Tiger Force. I just don't know what it is. But it's I think the idea of world building is very interesting. It's very wholesome. It's great creativity, and you guys know that that wall I'm working on was inspired through Paris and inspired by End State and trying to combine like things that I saw. So there's a dystopian Toronto, just to let you guys know, like that's what we focus on too. Home of the Oilers, dystopian Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, my home away from home. And this is the kind of stuff that I picture when I'm doing my world building and making my conversions, because you guys know, as much as Punk hates them, or hates the subject, you know, like I was big on mine, and Loki War 2, thank you again for that brilliant head. But it's also places where characters like that fit at home, right? And we have a lot of fun with that stuff. So I talked about everything I wanted to talk. Oh, the subwall. Okay, the subwall, there's going to be a second floor. I'm getting started on that. And that's about all I wanted to do. Okay, like, share, subscribes, guys. You know we need them on the channel. If we want to get to that 350, give away those figures and prizes and all that stuff in that one 350 contest, and then go ahead and get the next contest rolling. I want to do that, but in between that, we're going to do lives. I'm going to do another Saturday morning live with Crow coming soon, probably this weekend. I don't see why I can't. I know I have plans with friends, but I think if I get up early, do that, we'll be good. But I think this Tuesday, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think me and Aaron and probably 3-star are gonna be looking at having another group chat with everybody. We're trying for Tuesday. We'll see if everybody can make a jam. You guys were always thinking about it. It's just, you know, everybody's got a life. But we're gonna do that, and I know Aaron's got a bunch of stuff to reveal. Boxes that came in the mail from subscribers. I know one of them was Bobby Wald, and I can't remember who the other was, but other things I know about that I just won't even make mention of, and probably a lot of stuff I don't know about are in there. And I'm going to browbeat him with some questions. But guys, if you know that mech that he's challenging us to build there, if you know what that's called or where it is, or you can send a photo to my Gmail, I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to look it up so I can start doing my sketches better. And it's hard to do off videos. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Do the like, the share, the subscribe. And I am going to see you guys very soon. As tomorrow, I promise I will have, well, tomorrow and the next day, I'm going to try and present some new stuff for you, but definitely Thursday, some new figs coming. All right, we will see you guys again soon. Bye.